And we welcome you to the Dam Sports Show, streaming live on Daily Dodge TV and 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, as well as the brand new ESPN Wisconsin app. Your state, your teams, your ESPN. Apologies on the little hiatus. We have not been in studio the last couple of days. 2 days ago, a regional semifinal and a sectional semifinal for Beaver Dam baseball and Beaver Dam softball, respectively, were scheduled, and then they weren't because Mother Nature had other plans. Got canceled right around when our show would start, so that wasn't going to work. And then yesterday the games actually happened. Beaver Dam took down Sheboygan North 8-0 in baseball. That's why we're here now against the Beaver Dam baseball diamond, or right behind it, I should say. And Beaver Dam softball fell in a close one, 12-9 against Watertown. And so we had to be kind of on remote for that one. We had one game at 2, one game at 5. Today, we will be doing the Dam Sports Show from 4 until 4:30, and then we'll switch over to essentially an extended pregame show as Beaver Dam and West Bend West, who faced each other a couple of months ago, by the way, and have a lot of history, especially in the playoffs the last few years in the Nate Wilkie era. They're going toe-to-toe for a regional finals title. Corey Sparks, Wally Lukashinsky here with you on site. Jack Wilski is back at the 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam station. Wally, we've had an eventful couple of days.
Very eventful couple days. So it's very good to be back here on the Dam Sports Show with you. And again, we had some thrillers last night. You and I got to be out there for that Beaver Dam Watertown softball game. Obviously didn't go the way the Golden Beavers wanted to, but nothing but pride and very, very proud of the way they fought back. Trailed 10-2 against one of the better programs in the entire state. And then the baseball team, they're still playing. We're out here right now for a regional final tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And, whew, man, we catch our breath a little bit here. Beautiful weather. I know it's, this is what it's all about. This time of year, sun's out. You can feel that playoff juice in the air, Corey Sparks. We also had some big news in the NFL world today.
So let's do a little exercise called Crazy Things That Have Happened in the Last 24 Hours. We had two very competitive baseball and softball games, one apiece. Beaver Dam was in a deadlock with Sheboygan North entering the bottom of the fourth. Ashton Seifert had a no-no entering the sixth, and then over text, not over the announcement itself, but over text, I'm pretty sure I jinxed it by informing Wally that, and I quote, Ashton Seifert has done something through 5 innings, and I'll leave it at that. What else happened? Obviously, Beaver Dam softball and Watertown went toe-to-toe. Watertown is going up against Neenah in about an hour from the campus of the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh. What else has happened? Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Steeler.
A Stiller.
He'll be reporting to minicamp later this week, where he will sign the contract and continue his tour around the NFL. We're about 10% of the way there. Another big thing that happened, not that any of you care, I've had a gecko for the last 5 years.
You've had a gecko?
We've named him Franklin. It was my girlfriend's gecko, and then we adopted him when we moved out of college.
I've been to your apartment. How have I not seen this gecko?
It's a low-maintenance animal. It's in a tank. It's in the corner of the room. Moves during the night. That's about it, right? But we've called him Franklin, or so we thought it was a him. We found eggs yesterday. So Franklin needs a new name.
Oh, Franklina.
After 5 years, we've been misgendering Franklin.
That's first of all, I feel like a natural expert on the animal. That's probably a lie, but I'm shocked. I need to know, first of all, so you've had this for 5 years. How long do geckos live?
I think like 10 to 15, and they get pretty big too. This one's probably about 8-9 inches long.
Well, and
it's a long animal.
That's an amphibian, correct?
Yes.
I don't know if that's a reptile.
Reptile.
It is a reptile. Okay, all right.
So, and it's not nocturnal.
So it's not like you're out here like cuddling with Franklin anyways.
No. I believe
Just no.
Franklin moves around like sunset and sunrise. So whatever the term is for that, that's when Franklin's active. But then we have a little like half log on the bottom of the tank. Typically, Franklin goes on the wall or the back wall, window, ceiling. They have the sticky web finger effect, whatever you want to call that. I'm sure there's a much more technical term other than what I just said. But this little log on the ground, Franklin was under that for like 2 days. Still moving around. So it was like, okay, we're fine. You're not eating, so that could be an issue soon. Finally leaves that spot. We look down and the paper towel on the bottom is like shredded. And I'm like, what, were you digging? Why were you digging? So we moved the paper towel, and there's 2 eggs, probably the size of like your thumb nail, like the full thumb fingernail, down there.
All right, this is going to
So
be
me
the
and my girlfriend
dumbest
are like,
question
oh,
in the world.
you
ready?
are not a male.
I've got a dumb question for you. So is it like chickens then, where you can lay unfertilized eggs? Is that what it is? It's not like
Correct.
there's another dude in there.
Correct. Could be, but most likely unfertilized. So the right practice is to just freeze them and call it a day. But yeah,
Wow,
that's that.
tell you
Oh,
what,
wow, there we go.
my man, Jeff Eberle.
Thank you
once
very much.
again,
We got some
coming up
Gatorades
huge.
coming up.
My guy, Jeff.
Good to see you.
No,
Oh, we should be
he's
good.
out here trying to get us a sun shelter. No,
We appreciate
he's trying
it.
to make us feel even more special. And
dancing tomorrow night at the big club, huh?
no, yeah, of course, we got to get the electrolytes in there for the big dance. You know, you're the man, Jeff.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Wow,
That's probably
every time he brings up a Gatorade, I'm like tickled.
Oh, that's what you are. Okay.
I tell you what, no, this is one of those things too. I mean, we were out here Tuesday. We mentioned that they had we had a lot of inclement weather on Tuesday. They had to postpone the games. He was out there at Tuesday. I was on a walk, passes me by, and he drives by me. He just hits me. I think we'd be like if we had to play at 5.
Yeah.
I think I could have the field ready. This guy's an animal. He was out there first thing on Wednesday morning. That was a 2:00 first pitch yesterday.
Shoveling sludge.
You never
and
would have
turning
known
it
it
into
rained.
dirt. Yeah, and it looked remarkable. And the field once again looks amazing. Yeah, Jeff Eberle does it all. He's on the assistant coaching staff for Beaver Dam. He PA announces as of a few weeks ago. He's been the main guy for that. He does field ops, so anytime you watch us on Daily Dodge TV and see this wonderful field that goes for baseball or softball this year, that is also because of him. But yeah, Gecko is a female.
Gecko is a female.
Got to find a new name.
Well, I also
So-
I keep wanting to say Geico because of the obvious.
It's the animal.
Well, yeah, I guess. So I'm thinking of something else when I say Geico, but Gecko. This is new to me that you had that. I don't know if I feel comfortable anymore.
Geico is a gecko, the
I-
animal,
I suppose.
right?
I mean, it is.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of it. Now I know what it looks like too. I'm not a snake person. I feel like you're getting a little close to that for me.
Yeah.
You don't
I wouldn't-
strike me as
I
somebody
wouldn't
that would
mess
own
with
a
snake.
snake.
No, I would not mess with a snake.
I know Jack Wilsky, our wonderful producer back there in the studio today, has had snakes before, and they hit you with the, oh, they're adorable, they're nice. That could not be further from what I want to find out myself.
Yeah, I'm good there.
I'm good. I'm going to be snake food. I don't need that in my life.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Hunter Vaughn will be joining us in the second block here, and the final block, because again, around 4:30, we'll switch over to the pregame show for Beaver Dam baseball against the West Bend West Spartans, a team they played a couple years ago in the playoffs, a team they played earlier this season in non-conference play. We'll get more into that in the bottom half of the hour. If you are looking for a one-stop shop for all things sports cards, head on over to Real Sports Cards in Waupun, or make sure you check out their app. Whether you're into sports cards or Pokemon cards, Real Sports Cards has you covered with live break streaming right on the app. You can grab those individual cards on the go, be a part of a group, and watch for your favorite players and teams as the packs get opened in real time. Go to the Apple or Google Play Store today, look for the orange logo, and take your collection to that next level with Real Sports Cards, your local resource for all things sports cards, Pokemon cards, and more. Kind of a scatterbrained intro. I want to dedicate the next 5 minutes to all things Aaron Rodgers, who will be a part of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Felt like it was going to be the Steelers or the Vikings for a while. Apparently, there's reports coming out of the Minnesota Vikings camp that not a whole lot of confidence in J.J. McCarthy. Still very, very early, but coming off an injury.
That's too bad.
Was on a run-heavy offense that happened to rack up some accolades that Wally does not think deserve a whole lot of
Well, he threw 13 passes
credits.
a game for a team that knew everybody's
that
plays
true?
beforehand. I mean, it's probably not far off of that. I'm not worried about J.J. McCarthy at all if I'm anybody here in Packerland. And
Well, Vikings land's going to have to worry about him because Darnold's gone, and they're not getting Rodgers, and Rodgers is going
Sam
to the
Darnold's
Steelers.
gone. Oh, what are they going to do?
Yeah, you and Vikings quarterbacks have you go way back here. But I think a question that immediately popped up for me when multiple sources reported this about 2 hours ago was let's look back at what Brett Favre did. Brett Favre went over to the Jets, guided them to around a 500 season, then jumped over to the Vikings and took them on a playoff run at the end there before he hung it up. What does Aaron Rodgers have to do? Because the Jets experiment was terrible. He ran out with the American flag, and then his highlight reel is about as long as mine was that one year, a couple of years ago now in the NFL. Didn't go very well. Had the knee injury on the turf. That's a whole other debate and show that we could have. But then he comes back this year, and they're not competitive. They actually had a worse record. There's other factors at play than they did when Zach Wilson was their guy for the majority of the season before. So the Jets thing didn't go very well. What does Rodgers have to do at stop number 2 post Green Bay to at least match, if not surpass, what Brett Favre was post Green Bay?
What I will say is that he's going to a place that actually has an established culture. I know that the jokes are out there. They're going to go 9-8 every year, and they very well could this next little stretch with Aaron Rodgers as well. But again, it's a culture that is at least not a complete joke like you have with the New York Jets out there, where it feels like everything that can go wrong, they find ways to create their own problems. And Aaron Rodgers was a big part of that. But the one thing that I keep going back to is that a lot of people, I think, started being like, hey, Aaron Rodgers is washed. He isn't looking like himself. He threw the ball faster from that time that ball was in his hands to his release point, faster than any quarterback in the league last year.
No, he was not trying to get hit.
He was just not going to get hit last year. Part of that could be, well, if we're not going to do anything, why am I going to put my 40-something-year-old body on the line? The other part, though, is what if he just he's at a point. He had Garrett Wilson at the end of the year, Devontae Adams. Who's he going to have other than DK Metcalf next year? It's a very similar kind of wide receiver room to what you saw in Green Bay. It's a collection
Roman
of
Wilson.
twos. I mean, they brought in Gabe Wilson this last week for a workout.
Mm-hmm.
Gabe Wilson is the same wide receiver they've had forever. They have Allen Robinson. It's just like one of these has been number 2 ifs.
No thoughts on Roman Wilson?
Well, I again, he's another person from just a university. And again, I won't entertain that. What I will say is that I'm interested to see Pittsburgh. Very similar to Green Bay in the terms that it's a blue-collar area. We have to win above all else. We don't care about all the other nonsense that Hollywood, what have you will with Aaron Rodgers. If they start this season 3-4 and he doesn't look great, how fast does that city turn on him?
Oh, the city itself, I don't think it takes very long at all. I think they could be 0-1 and lose in ugly fashion, and his leash is gone from a fan's perspective. How is the team going to handle everything? Is he going to be able to go and get his old buddy Devontae? Is he going to be able to call Randall Cobb out of retirement, get this assistant coach? Because something tells me that's not going to fly in Pittsburgh the way it did with the Jets, where I heard Jason Wilde on Kyle Bress and Nortman weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m. on ESPN Beaver Dam and across ESPN Wisconsin. I heard Jason Wilde say the standard in New York was if Rodgers could get that team to the playoffs, they're going to rename Times Square Rodgers Square. They'll give him the key to the city. In Pittsburgh, that's the bare minimum. What on earth would happen if they have a losing record under Aaron Rodgers, 4-time MVP Aaron Rodgers guidance? Yet, not great things. So I just wonder, though, structurally, how many strings is that team going to allow him to pull before he even takes a snap for the Pittsburgh Steelers?
It won't happen. The Rooneys are the old school family. It's like one of those Italian Godfather families that you're talking about.
Mafia.
The mob families where they've just been
DeVito.
They've been Pittsburgh. They've been the Steelers for so long, and it's not going to be a cater to you. I think that had to have been very much portrayed in this entire process.
I sure hope so, because he's heading there now.
This is a city that is very close to having half of the town run Mike Tomlin out. And they're not complacent. They're not happy with the 17 or whatever straight 500 or better seasons. It's about playoff wins. It's about going to AFC championships, winning divisions. And if Aaron Rodgers is not going to do that, it's not going to be that place where if he was still in Green Bay, you'd almost have that built-in buffer of, you've done so much for us, we're going to let you enjoy your time on the sunshine.
We'll give you some grace.
There's not going to be grace shown in Pittsburgh. You're coming here, I don't care how old you are, with the expectation of taking this team to another level. Russell Wilson played his best year of football since Seattle last year.
Yes.
And he's run out of the building.
Oh, yeah.
What was that? Uh-oh. Jeff Eberle out here going to be painting home plate again next week if they get a win today. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
So,
that's somebody who's not going to get run out of any city.
No, let's play a little impromptu fill in the damn blank. If the Pittsburgh Steelers finish blank, their fan base will be happy with Aaron Rodgers. And it doesn't have to be a record, but what needs to be accomplished this year for that fan base and that team to feel satisfied? You got to win your division. You got to win a playoff game. You got to get to the AFC title game. Where's the line?
I'm glad you mentioned the record doesn't matter because we've seen them go 11-6. We've seen them go even 12-4, where they start those years 11-0 and fall apart at the end.
And then they get blown out in the playoffs.
It's not being the 8-point road underdog in first round.
It's been clockwork lately.
It has been. So to me, it has to be a playoff win. I think there's going to be some people that tell you it's got to be 2. I think that's asking too much. But just going off of growing up in that city of Pittsburgh, they are not ever happy.
It's a zero-tolerance atmosphere.
It is a championship or bust place, blue-collar, old-school, results speak for themselves kind of environment. So I think it has to be a playoff win.
I just thought of this. I'm sure other people have come up with it as well. That's the team he beat in the Super Bowl in 2011.
I don't think Pittsburgh fans care at this
point. How about that?
15 years later.
No, I know. Just like weird coincidence. I don't think it's we don't want you. I'm a Bears fan, right? Peyton Manning beat us. If we went after Peyton Manning in the last year of his career, we would have taken him.
I mean,
I don't care about that.
Look at me growing up as a Raiders fan with Tom Brady now.
Yeah.
We got Tom Brady as a partial owner of the team.
Yeah, it's crazy. How do you feel about that?
You know what? If he brings competency, which I mean the word competency, it's a very low bar in Vegas.
Yeah.
If they're a competent organization, I'd be happy. So
That's
you know what? Bring them in.
So a playoff win is your line. I feel like you align more with Pittsburgh fandom than I would, but I think that's.
It's somewhere between 1 and 2. Somewhere stuck between 1 and 2.
Depending, right? What if they?
If they go out this year and they blow the expectations that I would have, because I think that they are going to be a 9-8, 10-7 kind of team still.
Well, and if they were to go a 12-5 or 13-4,
the expectation increases.
Well, and you also likely just have to win that divisional round, and then your one win gets you into the AFC title game, and we can build the Rodgers statue.
And a playoff win is like a perfect middle ground. I think they would reluctantly take it.
A worthwhile investment at that point.
I mean. What did Jim Morris say for the Colts? What do we go back? We have it as a player on our show. Herm Edwards, excuse me. You play to win the game.
Yeah.
So the Pittsburgh Steelers are making this move with one goal in mind. It's because they truly believe, not that they should, but they truly believe they are a quarterback away from winning a Super Bowl. That is not going to happen. And if that is the expectation, this will be a failure. But I think that there's got to be some sort of level heads prevail. And if you do win a division, or if you win a playoff game, I think, especially in that division with Joe Burrow, with Lamar Jackson, I'm not going to mention Cleveland. Peace and love to those wonderful people in the great state of Ohio.
Dylan Gabriel.
Shedeur Sanders. Joe Flacco.
Kenny Pickett.
Don't forget number 5, I probably should not get myself in trouble. The other quarterback.
Yeah.
Watson.
What a mess. So we're going to welcome in Hunter Vaughn from ESPN Madison, the main producer for Mr. Irrelevant with Alex Strofe. On the other side of the break, I want to ask him the same question. What is a successful year under Aaron Rodgers looking like a few months from now when this season is over? That's on the other side of the break. You are listening to The Dam Sports Show on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam and Daily Dodge TV. Aaron Rodgers to Pittsburgh. It was more of a when and not really an if to this point, but we finally did get word. He will report to Pittsburgh later this week. Aaron Rodgers will be a Steeler. This is the Damn Sports Show, streaming to you live on Daily Dodge TV, 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, and the brand new ESPN Wisconsin app. That is your state, your teams, your ESPN. Corey Sparks and Wally Lukashinsky reporting to you from our remote studio just behind the Beaver Dam baseball field, about 30 minutes out from first pitch in a regional finals matchup. A guy who knows a thing or two about prep sports and football in general, as we bring him in now, is Hunter Vaughn from our ESPN Madison team. He's the main producer for Mr. Irrelevant with Alex Strofe, which you can watch live on the ESPN Milwaukee and ESPN Madison YouTube channels on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 12:30 p.m. Hunter, you and I were talking earlier today. I was like, hey, you good for the call? Yes, absolutely. Kind of going back and forth going, hey, what do you want to talk about today? And then this bomb drops it too, so that was pretty convenient, wasn't it?
It really is. I mean, I'm from Pittsburgh, so I know that this town, it's very similar. I know a very different success of late, but very similar to what you and I have grown up rooting for. It's one of these established brands, Hunter, and it's a blue-collar city, very much like Packer fans up here. The difference is he doesn't have that built-in grace of being with the Packers for 15-plus years of high-level ball. If he goes to Pittsburgh, and it starts out, they're 2-4. He's starting to look a little bit more like the New York Jets' Aaron Rodgers than the Green Bay Packers one. What do you expect this experiment to look like if it starts slow?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, throw a parade to 7 seed.
So that's a tough crowd over there. Wally's from the Pittsburgh area, and I think he's kind of reflecting that right now. A general frustration with fluctuating around that 8-8, now 9-8, or at the time 9-7 before we expanded the NFL season range. Hunter, what does a successful year under Aaron Rodgers look like? You could tab a record to it if you want, or where does their postseason journey end? I'll give you free reign here. Okay. Yep.
Well, see, it's amazing you said that because I said the same thing, that level heads prevail. If normal people actually have a say in this, it's got to be one playoff win. That city, I just don't know because we have been seeing the almost frustration given year in and year out of them being in, and then we know that wild card round, they're 8-point dogs that go and lose. If they win a playoff game, maybe if they win a division title, I see people happening. My question is, if they do win a playoff game, do you see Aaron Rodgers sticking around for more than 1 year, or do you think this is going to be his swan song?
Hmm.
For the
The
record,
tirade.
I would do anything. No. No, and it's like, you even know out there, too, because I would love to say that Pittsburgh people are rational and they're like, they understand what they have in Tomlin. They don't. Hunter, they thought. I was just saying, I'm not trying to push coaches out of the door. I just tell you what the city out there, it's unbelievable. I would
You're
trade.
like their spokesperson.
If it was up to me, I would have had the Raiders trade a first-round pick for Mike Tomlin. Oh my God. But unfortunately, that's not the case. And Pittsburgh people are ridiculous. Corey, I know I interrupted you. You had a question. I had to defend my honor there before Wally got thrown too far under the bus.
You're good. You're good. 10-26, Hunter. It's the Packers visiting the Steelers. Right now, way too early prediction. Now that we finally have it in print, who wins that game?
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. We need another core memory. There we go.
I tell you what, the thing that nobody's talking about already, too, and it's just going to be so on brand for this game after the build that we've had, watch him not even be starting by that time, whether that be injury or whatever.
Geez.
And then all of a sudden we had all this fun, all this conversation, and then, no problem, Aaron's going to be out this week. He'll have, like, the flu. No, I'm not playing.
There's no way he has a flu game and then just bows out against the Packers.
I don't know.
There's no way.
I don't know.
That big of a personality, he's going to find a way.
In the snow.
That'll be a flu game. I'm curious to see how he does. Hunter, this has nothing to do with anything we've talked about so far, so naturally I'm going to ask it. I was talking to Wally about this in the opening segment. I've had a gecko for 5 years.
Which is crazy.
And we've referred to him as Franklin until not he, but she laid 2 eggs yesterday. What do we do? Do we still refer to our gecko as Franklin, or do you change your pet's name?
Ooh.
I don't know. Okay, Franklin it is. Or Frankie? Franklina?
Frankie, you got Franklina.
Make it feminine at the end with the A?
Franklina.
Yeah.
No, it.
No, 100%.
God. You never had any crazy pets, did you, man? Because I was going to say, all of a sudden I'm finding out my producer had a snake. I'm finding out that Corey has geckos. What happened to the golden retrievers, Hunter? What happened to normalcy? Classic.
Oh, there we go. Oh!
No.
Oh. Oh. I murdered mine, too. Same here.
I'm so proud of you.
So we're both hermit crab murderers. Which one's worse, throwing it out early or 12-year-old Corey, by the way, just going to put that out there, went on like a weekend camping trip with the family, left the window open, no water, and it like fried?
Ah.
What's worse?
Yours is probably torturous.
It's dead.
I love you, Hunter. Look at that.
Oh, that's a tie back. You tied back my off-the-wall question like a true professional. Hunter, we appreciate you, man. Looking forward to talking to you next week here.
We love you, Hunter. Yes, sir.
Yes. Pitching, baby. Absolutely. We're looking forward to it. Feel free to tune in. Awesome. Appreciate you, Hunter. We'll talk next week.
You're the man.
That's the king of Prep Mania right there. Zimbrick Honda's presentation of Prep Mania. If you follow any Madison area schools, occasionally Beaver Dam will kind of mingle with those. The Sun Prairies of the world. Wanakee is obviously in our conference across the board pretty much. They do a great job over at ESPN Madison. Hunter Vaughn's a huge reason why. He's not even covering this, and he already knew a decent amount about, oh, that's a pretty good North Shore team going up against Beaver Dam. I need to tune in. That's a good regional finals matchup.
There's nobody that breathes Wisconsin high school sports the way that Hunter Vaughn does, and it's such a privilege to get to talk to him throughout the football, throughout the basketball, and even these little like drop-ins for baseball. He's just such a pro. I love that man.
Excited to see them get back going here in a couple of months. Football season's already just a couple of months away. But let's not look too far ahead as we have Beaver Dam Regional Finals baseball up against West Bend West, the Spartans. When we return, this concludes the Dam Sports Show. If you are watching live on Daily Dodge TV, you're going to flip over to the Beaver Dam versus West Bend West stream. If you're on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, do not go anywhere. We'll catch you on the other side of the break.